act if you knew you were going to die? Would you cry, run away, go on a destructive binge as to beat the Reaper of your own terms? It's a question that most of us would avoid even thinking about. And mercifully, most of us will never have to face death, as most of us will die when it's unexpected. The alternative is as terrifying and depressing as it is fascinating, and it has inspired some incredible feats of human endeavour. I'm Cal from What Culture, and this is 10 incredible ways that people faced up to their own death, and I apologise for any mispronunciations already. Number 10. Sempronius Densus. Few people have ever shown such loyalty and courage when faced with impending death. Roman centurion Sempronius Densus, he was personal bodyguard to Emperor Galba's deputy, who was attacked during the parade by their enemies. Luckily for them, Sempronius single-handedly stood in their way of the plotters, and while his colleagues either fled or assisted in the murders, he threw himself in the way of Piso the deputy and allowed him to find a safe hiding place while he dealt with a group of assassins. What a guy. Number 9. William Lewis Herndon. The captain goes down with his ship. Is it as literal as that? Well, Captain Hook may not have bothered, but Commander William Lewis Herndon is the epitome of that old age saying. While he was commanding the SS Central America in September 1857, the 3-day hurricane struck off the coast of North Carolina. The ship was hit hard, sinking fast, and recognizing the ship was doomed, Herndon helped 152 women and children onto lifeboats before he even helped himself. He even gave his watch to one survivor, asking her to send it on to his wife, as he would not leave the ship unless everyone else got off. Number 8. Dien Huy. Dien Huy was one of the most feared military officers in the late Eastern Han dynasty, renowned for his strength in carrying around 2 huge axe-like weapons to kill his enemies. Serving under the warlord Cao Cao, Huy was killed during the Battle of Wancheng, while heroically covering the leader's escape from the enemy's forces, along with just 12 of his men who all died. Undeterred from being alone, Huy charged at the enemy forces, killed 2 with his bare hands, and fought on fiercely despite mortal wounds. Number 7. Benjamin Guggenheim. American business tycoon Benjamin Guggenheim may go down with the Titanic, but he made sure he did so in style. After ensuring that his mistress and her maid had been placed on lifeboat number 9 of the ship, Guggenheim quickly realised that he wouldn't be saved, even though he had whispered to the pair, "We will soon see each other again. It's just a repair. Tomorrow the Titanic will go again." Having reassured them, he valiantly got hammered in the bar on acceptance of his death and went down with the ship as many whiskies went down his neck. Number 6. Lieutenant Frank Luke. United States Army Air Service Lieutenant Frank Luke met his untimely death while fighting the enemy above France in 1918. After finding himself completely alone deep behind German lines, instead of attempting to turn back, Luke decided to destroy 2 enemy Zeppelins. 8 German fighter planes attacked him from behind, but he still went on for a 3rd and final Zeppelin. He was shot down after taking out 6 further enemy fighters, and even after he crash-landed, he continued to shoot at Germans with a mere hand pistol as he died rather than surrendering. Number 5. King Aegeus III. Often we think of monarchs as selfish pantomime villains ruling with detachment, but King Aegeus III of Sparta proved that he was anything but that, while dying in battle in order to save his own men. While fighting a losing battle, knowing a defeat and certain death for his entire army was close, Aegeus attempted to gain time for his surviving soldiers to withdraw by bravely fighting until the bitter end. Number 4. Michel Ney. If Napoleon, who is hardly a man renowned for his niceties, labels "the bravest of the brave," that's my French accent, thank you, then you're probably doing something right. A man who fought bravely during Napoleonic Wars, Ney was arrested and captured when his leader was defeated, dethroned and captured in 1815. Ney was tried for treason and refused to stand trial at a Prussian court, instead being found guilty in Paris in December, sentenced to death by firing squad. Ney was granted one last wish, which he used to ask for control of his own execution. He called for the firing squad to pull the trigger. Number 3. Thomas A. Baker. During a particularly bloody campaign during World War II, Baker's group were attacked from 3 sides by close to 5,000 Japanese soldiers, and the sergeant was gravely wounded. He refused to withdraw, however, instead insisting he remained with his fellow soldiers until his ammunition ran out, and later refused to be carried. He was left propped against a tree with a pistol and 8 rounds, all of which found a Japanese soldier before he died. Number 2. The giant Norse axeman at Stamford Bridge. Everyone associates 1066 with the Battle of Hastings, but there was a battle that preceded at Stamford Bridge. Although the British eventually claimed victory, the battle went down in folklore due to the actions of one giant Norse axeman in particular. Likely armed with a Dane axe, the huge warrior stood in the middle of the bridge crossing the River Derwent. He gave his fellow Vikings time to retreat as he blocked the English army's passage. He held up the entire English army for such an extended period of time that the Norse troops were able to form a defensive shield wall on the bank behind the bridge and await an enemy attack. Talk about a one-man army. Number 1. Gurmukh Singh. At the Battle of Saragarhi, Singh laughed in the face of death, stranded with 20 of his fellow soldiers and surrounded by a huge Afghan force in northern India. Singh found himself outnumbered by 500 to 1. Having picked off many Afghans with a bog-standard rifle, Singh's time appeared to be up once his fellow soldiers were killed. Facing an inevitable death, Singh ran through headfirst into the Afghan forces and killed as many as 20 men before he was eventually shot and mortally